In this video, I want to explain how to choose the right Betaminic bedding strategies with a data snapshot. First, you can copy and paste the all results and since shared strategy results into a spreadsheet. Then remove the strategies with poor statistics and rank and highlight the strategy statistics that you think are most important. Then select and follow the strategies that will work well together in a multi-strategy system. In the Betamin Builder, click on the Public Strategies area and select to show 200 strategies. This allows you to capture all the data you will need in one go. Left-click on the screen and drag down to the bottom. Then I stop when I get to a rating of 0 because anything with a rating under 1 is not in profit since they've been shared. Right-click and copy that data and then paste it just as values into a spreadsheet. Don't keep the formatting, otherwise it'll mess lots of things up. All the data we need is not on the same row, so we need to transfer it to the right row. So we want to get C1 and we want to put that into A2. So type in equals C1 in the A2 cell and type in equals D1 in cell B2. That will transfer the rating and the strategy name onto the same row as the rest of the data. Then we want to copy that for the rest of these strategy names and data. So I just copy and paste all of that to every single row. And then because these columns are formulas, they won't sort very well. So I want to copy them to two new columns and copy them as just text. Yep, so just the values. Then I don't need these columns, I can delete them. And now I have all the data I want on one column. Next, I'll get rid of these columns because I don't need them. And now I can sort the data so it's all together. So I want to sort it by a column that just has the kind of data I want. So I'm going to sort it by column A, just alphabetically, well, alphanumerically. So I'm going to sort it by column A. There we go. And then I want to keep this top row here because that tells me what each column is. But then all this middle data I don't need. This is all the stuff I don't need. So I'm going to delete these rows like this. Okay, right click delete. Get rid of those. And now I have all that data together. Now I'll just change this column header so I know what it is. This is the strategy name. This is the rating. Then I'm going to make the column headers bold and I'm just going to give a color background to this data header so I know that this is one set of data. So this is the all period data I've got here, the all results data. Then next I need to do the same thing for the since shared data. So I click on the since shared data. Again, it might take a little time to get the data, so don't worry if your browser slows down because it's a lot of data for it to load up. And then I'm going to left click, I'm going to copy all that data. And if you don't get an option to copy, you can just right click on the highlighted area and click copy. And then again, copy it just as values. I'm not keeping the formatting. And then I'm going to sort that data like I did before, sort the rows, do what I did just previously, and highlight again. I'll choose a different color because this is the since shared data now. And then I'm going to copy and paste the data so it all fits together. So I've got the since shared and the all results data all on the same sheet. And then the next thing I need to do is match up all the strategy names so that the data on each row is for the same strategy. And to do that, I have to make sure that the strategy names from both sets of data are correct. So I highlight one of their names so I can see what they are, and I can see straight away that these are not lined up, they're not in the right order. So what I usually do is I rank each set by its strategy name. So that's column B in this case. Click on my column has headers, so I keep those headers, and then I'll do the same thing with the since shared data. And then they should all be in the same order right now. And then I just do a quick check, because sometimes if you copy and paste things the wrong way, it will miss out a strategy here and there and they won't match up. So I go down looking on the left and then looking on my highlighted names on the right to check that they all match up. This is very important, otherwise you'll get the wrong data. So they're all okay. They all match up there, that's fine. So I can get rid of that background. And because I have them all matched up now, I don't need these columns that are repeated. So these columns that are repeated in both sets I can get rid of. And now I have my data snapshot. Once you've got this file, don't forget to save. So now you've got your data snapshot, and now you can rank it and look for the stats that are interesting for you, that you think are important. So I often start with the results since shared profit and loss, the live period there, and I rank them in order to see which ones have made the most profit since they were shared. Then once I've ranked them, then I highlight the top 10 or the top 5 or whichever ones have values I like. So I'm going to highlight and bolden all of those strategies that have over 30 points profit. So I want to, and then I'm also going to take a look at how many total bets they have. So they have lots of total bets over 100. And one thing you want to think about there, so you can also cut out strategies that you don't want to consider. So we still have lots of strategies here. And I like to get rid of strategies that have less than 100 bets in their since shared column. So since these strategies were created and since they were published, these strategies have had less than 100 bets. And for me, I don't think that's enough data for me to say whether they're working properly or not. So as they get more bets, they'll go over 100, and maybe the next time I do a data snapshot, I'll consider them. But for the moment, I'm not going to consider those strategies with less than 100 bets. After cutting those, I'm down to 118 strategies now. So I think I've still got a lot of good strategies. I need to slim them down a little bit more. So next, I'm going to look at the yields in I call it the LP, the live period, which is the since shared period, since they've gone live. And I'm going to rank them by yield in their live period. And again, I'm going to highlight the top ones from there. Anything over 10% is very good. I can see those are very nice yields, over 10%. And I can see the total bets they've had in their live period. They're all over 100. That's very encouraging. And I can already see some of those have high profit and high yields. They both have two columns highlighted. Next, I'm going to go down to the low yields and I'm going to get rid of them. You can choose what level you want to get rid of. I'm going to get rid of anything under 4% in its live period. Again, each time you do a snapshot, these things can change. So if a strategy is doing well, it might go above 4%. So it doesn't mean I discount a strategy forever. It just means for the moment, I'm not going to consider it because there are other strategies that are doing much better. So I'm going to remove those strategies, put them in another spreadsheet of these removed strategies in case I want to check that data. So now I'm left with just, I think, about 41 strategies. So I'm really cutting it down now. Great, so just 41 strategies to think about. And I'll choose another factor to look at. The next factor I like to consider is the maximum drawdown. So it's worst losing runs. And for this one, instead of looking at the live period maximum drawdown, I like to look at the all period maximum drawdown. So that goes back years and years and years, back to 2002. So since 2002, what's its worst run been? And I'll sort it by that. So it's all period. That's over nearly 8 years of data now, over 8 years of data. And I'll go from largest to smallest, and I can see, so low drawdowns is good, of course. So I'm going to highlight some of the strategies with low drawdowns. Under 20 is really, really good. I often follow anything that's under 30, that's fine. So I'm highlighting those that are really good. And then another thing I like to do is just check out how does that compare to its live period drawdown. So is this maximum drawdown from its live period? If the number in the live period column is the same as the number in the all results column, that means its worst run came since it was created, since it was shared. And that's sometimes a worrying thing. If the number is lower, then that means it hasn't gone near its historical low, and that's a good sign. So I often then highlight those strategies that haven't touched that level. So their worst run was in their historical research period, but not in their live period since they've been shared. Then I'm going to look at the bottom now of those all period maximum drawdowns and see which strategies had the worst results. Have had the worst runs, the biggest drawdowns, and we can see here we've got some big numbers here. And well, I can see here it's got a lot of profit and a lot of yield there, and that's one reason why I might leave that in there. So I'll have to think carefully before using that. But on the other hand, it's showing really good results. And then I'll compare its well, first of all, I'll highlight it as a warning, give it an orange background, and you can see that its worst run also came since it's been shared. So if that Braveheart one, I would then think about not using that because it's worse. It's got a really low drawdown, and that drawdown came since it was shared, since it was created. I'm going to highlight in yellow that these two strategies, mid-table team and not home on, their worst run hasn't come since they've been shared. That happened in the past. So let's just highlight those ones with really bad drawdowns. And let's just highlight those who've had those worst drawdowns since they were shared. And for me, that's a little bit of a warning sign. So that means that since it was created, it went on to have a worse run than it's ever had historically since it was created, since it was shared. So these ones I'm highlighting with yellow, I'd still keep them in consideration, but the ones that have had orange, they've had their worst runs since they were shared, I would be very, very cautious about including those in my strategy set. So I'm going to remove this Braveheart one. It doesn't have profit or yield that makes me want to risk using that. And I'm going to remove a couple of other strategies. So if it's got a high drawdown, then I don't want to keep that in my strategies. I've made a mistake with this copying and pasting here, so let's just fix that. And so then I would consider which strategies am I going to remove here from consideration in this data snapshot. Yeah, I think I will remove missing teams, top leagues, because the yields there, the profit there isn't enough for me to consider that with its high drawdown. So we've cut it down a little bit more there. Including strategies with high drawdowns is up to you. It's how much risk you're considering using, the size of your bank, the size of the stakes you're going to be using. The higher the historical drawdowns, the lower your stakes should be. If you have low drawdowns, then you could probably go for much larger stakes. I mean, immediately, if the drawdown is -40 or something, then you can't have stakes of 2% or higher, really, with that. Sometimes when I'm looking down here, I forget what the stats are, so I just copy the strategy headers and put them at the bottom again for me there. Another thing I consider is the average odds. So personally, I don't like betting on high odds because I just think they naturally have higher drawdowns because they have longer losing runs, even if they're going by their normal pattern, normal trend. So when something has odds over 5, then I don't really like those kind of strategies. Then when it's not obvious whether I want to remove a strategy or not, I like to check it out, take a look at its results. So I put its name and search by name and find that strategy. And I take a closer look at it on the Betaminic website in the Betamin Builder. And that will help me make a choice. So this one, you can see that kind of it's slowly going up despite its big drawdown. It's showing over its since shared period that it is basically going up. It does have some ups and downs, and that's why it's got a large drawdown. But that yield and that profit is very interesting, and yeah, I'm still quite interested in that one. That looks quite good. So I might not get rid of that one. Again, I take a look at its monthly results, its recent results since shared, and yeah, so here's the since shared, and yeah, it has losing months. I see how big the losing months are. It has winning months, losing months, and you can see, yeah, well, it hasn't had. It looks like it's following a pretty standard variation there. So going up, going down, and it's not huge long losing runs, not huge long massive winning runs. So I think I might keep that one in there. Then I'm looking at this one here, away wins with Bastion. So I'm not a big fan of away wins generally, and often when I put strategies together, I often prefer home wins and draws, and draw no bets and double chances. I don't really like standard away wins. So it's up to you if you want to include those kind of strategies in there for consideration. Then once I've highlighted all these, one thing I like to rank them by at the end is the total bets in the live period. And the reason why I do that is that's the data size I'm basing a lot of my decisions on. So basically, how long has this strategy been working? So since it was created, these strategies have had over 500 bets, all of those ones I've just highlighted now. So in this video, I showed you how to create your own data snapshot of the Betaminic results, which makes it much easier to rank and to sort through the different strategies and to highlight the different statistics that are important to you. And then you can choose which strategies you want to use in your own portfolio of your own system. Thank you for watching my video, and if you want to read more about big data betting, you can read my books. They're on Amazon, or you can get them free if you become my Betaminic referral. You can see my website, bettingsystemsguide.com, for more information on how to do that. Also on my website, I explain how you can automate all of your betting using the BF Bot Manager and using extra automated bots that will bet in play on these strategies and get even more value out of the Betaminic picks. Thank you very much for watching. Please click and subscribe.